Howdy, howdy, and welcome to My Bloody Judy with your final faguettes, myself, Zachary Patton Garcia.
And Ian Carlos Crawford.
Hey,
Hi.
we're here to watch some found footage today. Ian convinced me. He's got me watching found footage, my arch nemesis.
Hey, you also liked Paranormal Activity Next of Kin when we watched it.
I do. And this one wasn't bad. I don't think this one was bad. So we are covering VHS 2 today because I don't feel like, I don't know, I've never seen any of them, so I don't know if you need to watch them in order, but you said we didn't really need to watch them in order, right?
No, I actually didn't think they connected until I read the trivia, and apparently the within the frame story, there's references to the first movie, but...
Well, we're watching them. I think all of them are like this pretty much, right? They're all set up the same way. We've got an overarching like framework story and then short films throughout.
But so I don't remember there being much of a frame story in the first one. And at least not like, I felt like the frame story was actually like, you know, it gets like scary. So I don't remember that. I remember the first story in the first one because I had remembered like the trailer was basically for that first one when it came out. It was like only that first thing and being interested. And then me and my roommate, when we lived in Brooklyn, like watching all of them within a week. This was the only one I revisited.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it was good. I thought it was good. It's not one I'll probably watch again. I don't see myself watching it again, but I did like it. It was okay. So I went into it because I don't like found footage. I just don't like found footage. I think it's very rare that I do like a found footage movie. I probably like more than I'm saying anyway right now. But in my mind, I'm saying I don't like found footage. I think they're kind of cheap. They're cheap scares, you know. But I do think found footage is the tension. You can always ramp up tension really well in found footage. I think it's a really great way to just kind of like, I don't know. Yeah. You're just like linger your camera, right? That's usually what they do. They linger the camera and they just kind of like follow it across a space and then something happens, but you always know it's going to happen. You always know it's going to be at the end of this space, right? But it still gets me every time.
I don't know. It's for me, I like found footage because of that. Because I mean, I don't necessarily always think they're like, you know, masterpieces, but like they do a good job of building tension. And this one, while I don't think every story is like really great, I think the one that does build the tension and keeps it is very like, I still got anxious rewatching it. And I've rewatched that one since.
When I went into this, while I was taking my notes, I made sure that I understood what it was going into it, right? This is a bunch of short films. It's got like what? We counted the directors, and so there's 4 short films, one overarching story, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So like 5 if you count the
it's like 7
story.
or 8, yeah, 7 or 8 directors. So obviously this is a low budget movie in its entirety anyway. And each individual short film is even lower budget than that. So I knew that. I made sure that I had that on, and I'm not critiquing any of the... I have no notes that say it looks cheap, because I think that's not fair for this, because it's got to look cheap. It's designed to look cheap. So I kind of went in order of which one was more effective for me, and I kind of gave them a rating based on that. So that's kind of how I did my notes here. I will say, I think the frame story intrigued me a lot more than the rest of it.
The frame story is actually like, for a throwaway like frame story, it actually is like good, right?
It was really good, and it had all of the visual elements that I like in a found footage. It has a really dark, grainy space, and in the background you see things. There was plenty of things just walking around in the background, and like people crawling up in the background, and I really enjoyed that. So what was the story? The story was a private investigator, right? I didn't quite follow that. It was a private investigator, and he was going to look for this woman's son.
A woman. So it was a private investigator and his girlfriend, who's also a private investigator, and a woman who maybe or maybe not is in on it, hires these private investigators to go make sure her son's okay because she hasn't heard from him.
There was a really good twist. I don't think we'll say it yet. We'll kind of keep it in order, but there was a pretty good twist that I thought. I think we're...
Right, I think it is.
I thought that was really good, actually.
Yeah.
But
I like shit like that.
I do too, and I like the private investigator storyline. I thought that was really good. When it opened up at the motel, I was like, where are we going here? I thought that was the first short film, so I thought like something was going to happen there. But yeah, no, it was a good little opening, and then we go into the private investigator storyline, and they break into this house, this guy's house that they're looking for, and they stay in this house a long time. I would probably take some of the tapes and maybe the laptop and like leave, but they
Yeah.
like stay in this house.
Well, I mean, presumably they're not scared because they do shit like this often, right? If they're private investigators.
Yeah.
And the mom had told them, oh, there's a loose lock or whatever in the back window. So they knew how to get in. And I feel like you or I might be like, all right, let's piece the fuck out of here. But like, I guess if you're a private investigator, you break into houses that look.
Do you break into houses as a private investigator? Is that what they do? Is that in the job description? Oh goodness. I always felt like I could be a private investigator. I'm very sleuthy. I can find something. But this is the 2010s. This movie I thought was older than this. I thought it was maybe 2000s. This is the 2010s. There is no way any motherfuckers are walking into an empty room with like 10 TVs all on a static channel and thinking that's normal and being okay with sticking around.
Yeah, they're
No
pretty calm
fucking
about
way.
it.
No fucking way, man.
Well, so then like literally it just goes to she puts on the first tape, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's how we kind of go into
He's
the
like
story.
looking around and she's sitting. Also, like, yeah, that feels like there's all the static. And also like they heard a noise, like they heard someone inside when they were going in the window. But I guess like the private investigator dude, it's not like he's like, oh, it was nothing. He's like, great, then we can talk to the guy if he's here. Which I guess like that makes sense. It's
What
like,
are they doing with the guy? Are they just looking for him? Or are they bringing him back? Like, what is the goal here? I don't understand what the goal is.
I mean, one or the other, right? Either just like,
I guess
we
so.
could call your mom and be like, yeah, he's fine. His jaw's blown off. He's fine.
Let's not overcomplicate it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But this was, so I was editing last night and I was editing really late and I went to the bathroom and I can see our living room in the bathroom mirror if I have the door open. And I was peeing and it was in the dark and, you know, the living room was dark and I didn't even turn the bathroom light on. And I looked, while I was washing my hands, I looked up in the mirror and behind me, I could just like picture somebody standing back there. And so that immediately watching this first story, it reminded me of that. And I like things like that. I like a lingerer in the background and all of that sort of fare.
Yeah, because I think it builds tension because like it's lingering, but it's not doing. There's like nothing. It's like just there, and that like builds tension where you're like. Ugh.
And we see the guy before we even get into the first tape that she starts playing. We see this guy in a white shirt twice, once behind the dude and once behind her. That
He's standing
always,
up,
like,
right?
That, yeah,
Yeah,
and that it always fucking scares me. I don't
Me
like
too.
people in the background. That will always terrify me. So she puts in the tape, and we go into the first story. And the first story is: do these short films have titles? I didn't even write down any titles. I didn't see any titles.
So I have the Wikipedia page up. The first, so the frame story has a name too. It's
Okay.
Tape 49. And then the first short that we watch is called Clinical Trials.
Mhm.
It actually says Phase 1 Clinical Trials.
Okay. Well, again, my notes at the very top say this is going to be low budget. Don't criticize the budget. Which are the most effective for you? I did not like this one. I was not a fan of this one. I thought it was so cheesy, even taking out how low budget it looks. I'm not a fan of I think it works really well in Black Mirror how they have the contacts that can record things sometimes. So this guy has he gets an eye put in.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was a contact lens or an eye until like the very end when he like gouges the eye out. And the eye is like recording everything. So, I mean, I guess that's a cool piece of technology, but I just don't like that. I don't like the like sci-fi-ness of that. It just doesn't do anything for me. But
I mean, that's it. I think the first two are the weakest.
Yeah.
And then the last two are the strongest.
I think it works well with kind of coming up with a concept that the eye is making him see things, right? It's not that his house is just haunted.
The doctor says to him, you may see some things, but he doesn't say like, you're going to see ghosts. It's just like, you might see some things. You got to adjust is what the doctor tells him.
Yeah. I made I do like a little Halloween found footage thing whenever, for most Halloweens, I do that for my YouTube channel. And the first one I ever did was really, really bad. And it was very much like this, like a camera moving around. And I could tell that he was in there improving the hell out of his role here. And was trying to fill quiet space with just like random words. So he would go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, just like over and over in a sequence, you know? I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of that. he's just in this big like what California house. It looks like a Los Angeles mansion that he's in. I guess
Yeah,
if he's getting
because it's not like that big, but it's beautiful. Like, and it has that
yeah.
like pool and deck area, and it looks like it's on a mountain. So like, yeah,
I liked the blinking. I liked that we still saw him blink as the because he had the eye
okay.
on.
So like the way I do think this one's, I don't know. Actually, the second one might be the weakest for me, but I do think like a thing that works on me with found footage is especially when it's like very POV and not
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like so when he first sees the body in his bed and then he pulls a sheet and there's nothing there and then he turns around and it's right there.
Yeah.
Like that stuff gets me like I have to go like away from the screen a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember in It Part 1 when they're watching the film
Yeah.
and like Pennywise is getting closer and closer and suddenly he's like screaming in their faces. Like that shit. I don't know why I get like a little kid where I'm like, I don't like something like loud and right there.
I think it's even more effective when there's blinking, just like that Pennywise scene, like when there's a shadow going or there's some sort of flickering, and with each flicker you see the character getting closer. I think that's really creepy. There were a lot of creepy moments in this one though. I will have to say, like every time he went to the bed and saw like the outline of a body like under the sheets in there. Oh, it always gets me. There's a couple moments with sheets in this movie where I don't understand. I guess it's just a horror rule. It's a rule of horror that you have to open the sheet, but I'm not fucking doing that. You leave it, whatever is under there, you let it play its game and let it be under there.
If it's clearly a body, I'm like, well, you seem busy. I will leave.
I say, fuck off, man. I am not about to go and slowly pull the sheet over and see what the fuck is underneath because it's not something you want to see. It's not going to be a face that's going to be pretty to your eyes or your eye.
It's not like your friend being like, oh, sorry, I fell asleep with the blankets over my head.
No. So that was creepy. I did find that really creepy. I don't know. All of the ghost stuff, though, I didn't find really creepy. I find mystery even creepier than just the ghosts kind of like appearing in the hallways or appearing in front of him and like doing the quick like jump scares. I didn't find any of that creepy. I didn't like any of that. And then the random fucking girl who shows up at his house and he just like lets her in.
That part's weird because it's like...
It's something that is supposed to, in a normal movie, develop
Right.
over maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. And she just shows up and she's like, let me in. I thought that was his friend at first. And like, he's like, I don't even fucking know you. And she's like, well, open the door and you'll know me. And he's like, okay. And he opens the fucking door and she comes in and is like, do you have any drugs? Like, what kind of person did you just let in your house?
She's like, a beer and painkillers, please.
She was not a good actress. I did not like her.
I mean, I didn't think either of them were particularly great.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
But him, it didn't matter because we weren't really seeing him
It
that
didn't
much.
really matter. Yeah. But so her whole deal is that she had what's the word?
Hearing aid put in.
Hearing aid put in when she was a child, and it allows her to now hear spirits, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess her naked fucking uncle follows her around everywhere. It's like this old naked man sitting in his tidy whities. He's just always behind her.
With blood all over him.
And he shows up. The guy with the eyes sees him and is like, oh, that's a guy. And she's like, yeah, that's my uncle. He's not a good guy. Here, have sex with me, and we'll make him leave. Just don't understand.
Yeah, so like I mean, like I feel like older horror movies do this a lot where someone shows up to explain what's going on and then immediately dies. And like, I'm like, that's stupid. And like, that's kind of what happens, right?
Yeah.
But the way she explains it is like, there's like 2 lines of her explaining it where she's like, I can hear it now. They don't explain why, like, she got the implant, she can hear ghosts, he got an eye, they don't explain like, why. It's just like another person who had it. And she says like, the more attention you give them, the like closer to you they can get and they can start touching.
And I've always fucking thought that. Always. Whenever I've always like trained myself to be like, if you ever see a ghost, ignore it because it cannot do anything to you. And the more attention you give it, it's just going to be able to do stuff to you. So that's my motto. If I see a fucking ghost, you ignore it. You just act like it's not even there, okay? It could be sitting in that chair right there, co-hosting with me right this second. I said, nope, no screen time for you.
We record a whole episode. You're like, don't talk about it, Ian.
We don't do it. Don't even mention it. It's behind me. I see it right this second. I see it in the reflection of the picture right there, and I'm going to ignore that. I'm like,
can we record tomorrow?
It would freak me the fuck out. I would jump out of my fucking skin. I have to be real. Any reflection type of thing that's behind me, can't do it. I liked the house in this because it felt like a real messy house, and I could tell it was probably somebody's house on production, and it was just already in that state.
Yeah,
It was
it
good.
did look like that.
No set dressing needed. And then there was also a moment where it's when he sees the body in the bed, and have you ever seen the video of it's a black and white video, and they like pour water on this girl's face, and she wakes up and she's like, "Hello." Have you ever seen that? No, you haven't seen that? God,
Maybe
I
I
fucking
have. I
thought
don't
of
know.
that because he starts walking in, and he sees this body ominously under this blanket, and he goes, "Hello, hello." It was just fucking like I was laughing so hard at that.
I did think it was like I kept being like, well, it's dumb that he keeps ending up back in the bathroom, but also I guess that makes sense as like if you're trapped, that's like the place to hide, right?
Well, I also like that he was very aware that his eye is a camera. It's not like anything he ever forgot. So he went into the bathroom and talked to himself. I thought that was, I'm talking the fuck out of myself, you know? So he has sex with a girl and stuff like that. And then the ghosts just like pop up and they just start attacking them. And I don't know why, because they'd gotten to the point where they said, okay, well, let's not give them attention. But then they didn't have any time to just not give them attention because then they get attacked, and like it didn't matter anyway from that point. So whatever, I don't know. I did think it was really cool when he went and like gouged his own eye out and was holding it, and the POV kind of changed from there. I thought that was a really cool thing. This one though, I would give it's like a 1.5 out of 5.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay,
I might give it a 2. Maybe
2, just for the thought. I'll give it a 2. I think 2's fair. 2's fair. Okay, there's worse ones. And then we go back to the framework story, and her reaction to this one was so like it was stupid. It was so dumb because she like looks at it and she's like, huh.
Well, I think it's supposed to be that she's like out of it, right? It's like the tapes are like
Was
doing
she out
something
of it
to
by
her.
that point? I don't think that was too quick.
I think it was like she was like starting to be mesmerized because she had a nosebleed already.
Okay. No, was that the nosebleed, that one, or was that the second one?
Or is that for the second
That was
one?
the second one. Yeah, she was still fine the first one. But then she puts in another. Oh, he's not crawling towards her yet. No, not yet.
He's
okay
behind her in the doorway when she puts on the next tape.
Yes, she puts on the next tape, and the next one is, what is that? What's the title?
It is called A Ride in the Park.
A Ride in the Park. All about zombies. I did appreciate the POV that they. I was going to say that
different.
They committed to the POV ride, but then they kind of flipped from camera to camera. I wish they would have just kept it his POV the entire time. The second tape is basically zombies from a POV of a GoPro on this guy riding a bike. As soon as it opened, it looked like a porn. He was going to go gay cruising somewhere, looking for a dick out in the woods.
Found something else.
In the woods, looking for some wood and find something else. I liked the beginning of this. I liked the GoPro on his head. I liked him riding, and then a random girl running out in front of him. I didn't know what it was going to be, but that was very creepy to me. And then that she was bloody and saying her boyfriend was over there and go help her boyfriend. And then turned into zombies. And zombies always take the creep factor out of it for me, but I do really enjoy a zombie.
I feel like a zombie will take out the creep factor, but it'll up the stress for me.
It just turns it into a different experience, right? Like a zombie film is not a high tension, or maybe it's a high tension moment, but it's not scary to me. I've never found zombies scary.
Listen, I will tell you that when I watched World War Z, that movie stresses me out. And like, again, I guess you're right. It's like not like a scary, but it's like stressful.
It is very stressful.
Especially that movie. It's like everywhere he goes.
They're crazy. They're like wild ones. Those are ones that are stressful. There are tons of different types of zombies. And I think the World War Z zombies are the ones I would least like to run into.
I would like to run into no zombies.
I want to run into a zombie in my lifetime. Come on, you're not living if you don't run into a
But
zombie.
I will say, wait, so this is a World War Z sidebar, but when I was living with my roommate, we got stoned, we put it on. I cried at the opening because it was in Philly, and it was literally in Philly. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit, like that's the city like right where I grew up. And like I recognized all the areas they were in, and they show it just like fucking burning with all these zombies running across it. And like I was stoned and I cried and I went, man, this is, and I looked at my roommate was snoring.
Okay, well, the last Purge movie, they go to El Paso, and as soon as they show the skyline of El Paso, it's in flames. That was a couple months before I was supposed to move here, so that was a bad omen for me. I saw that in the theater, and I could have cried then and there also, and I wasn't even high. But
This segment's also really short, right?
it's I feel like it was too long, actually. I think for what it was, I kept expecting something else to happen. And for what it was, I think it was too long. I didn't like that the POV changed from his GoPro
Yes.
to other people's cameras or like a camera that was on his bike. I don't like when there's like,
Oh, was that how they maneuvered that? Was
Never.
there a camera on his bike?
yeah, they said there was a camera on his bike. Okay, so I was going to say I
Yeah.
don't like when we act like normal people have 20 cameras on them at all time, but I'm a YouTuber, and so I do. And I definitely have cameras set up all around my room. But normal people, it doesn't feel like they're walking around with a bunch of cameras. And all found footage movies, I think this is one of my big gripes, is that they seem to have like 20 cameras set up in a room, and it makes no sense why they do. So that's kind of what I felt here. Like it would make sense with the GoPro, but then we like switched to a birthday party, and I get it. I get this. They have a camera out at the birthday party, whatever. But it would have been better had they shown the approach to the birthday party and everybody's just reactions, because I did like seeing the zombies POV the entire time. I thought that was really interesting and really different, and that's not something we see all the time.
Um, Also, we forgot to point out, no, so we're wrong. The figure is standing in the doorway when she puts on the first tape. The figure crawls through the doorway when she puts on the second tape through the other doorway. I have it in my notes.
That was during the second tape.
Oh, nope. See, nope, I'm wrong. I was
Don't bring it up. Yeah, here's the third tape.
that's the third tape. Sorry, I was like scrolling through my notes and scrolled wrong. Yes.
Blame it
so,
on
like,
COVID brain. Just do it. It doesn't matter. You can always just say that. Nobody will question it. Nobody questions it.
Anyway, I did like laugh when it's like they're invading a children's birthday party, because that feels just like so much.
I loved that. I loved that. And then as the attack is happening, you see just one car speed out from the parking lot, and I fucking like roared at that. I thought that was so fucking funny.
I'm getting attacked at like my birthday, and Zach's like, "Call me later, text me, bye."
Gone.
In the
If you
car
couldn't
already.
make it to the fucking car 20 feet away, that's your own fucking fault, Ian. I'm not grabbing your hand and running with you.
Listen,
Nope. You've been having a trainer. You should be able to run by now. We run.
I'm
with
like,
the
Zach,
zombie
hold my hand. He's like,
apocalypse.
don't be affectionate right now.
There is one scene that I really liked, and it felt very true crimey, because I love a true crime. When he is it's like right after he dies, right after he becomes a zombie, and he's just laying there, and the couple comes up who are on their bikes, and they run into him, because it is like the POV from like a victim, and these people running into or coming across this body. However, they did not see him. The guy seemed a little bit more bothered by it than the girl did, until the girl got on the phone with 911, and then she was like, "I found a body." Her mood changed right there.
I'm always okay with the quiet, because I'm a quiet when I'm like, "Ugh." Like that's the only time I'm quiet.
Yeah, but this scene, I just think this little tape went on too long, and it just kept going. And then there was like an emotional beat where he gets a call from his girlfriend, and it snaps him out of his zombie mind, and he like blows his head off. And I'm like, okay, cut it. Too much is happening here now.
A thing I did like a little bit was like when he first encounters that woman, like after she turns into a zombie. I like the idea, like, and the thing this movie overall seemed to work with was like zombies, but as like a weird mystical, because like when he's getting attacked by that woman and we see her face, she's saying words, she's like rambling words, but she's a zombie, but she's like saying a bunch of words all jumbled together as he's like attacking her. And I thought that like for me that makes them slightly creepier.
Yeah,
and I guess that also lent to like, oh, they're still a little bit coherent.
Yeah. How many knives do you give this one?
I think this one I would give 1.
Okay. Really? I'd give this one 3, probably 2.5 to 3 knives out of. I guess I can't really do half a knife. We'll do
Maybe I'll do 1.5 then. I'll do 1.5.
2.5 knives out of the 5. I liked this one a lot more than the first one. I think it gets major points for sort of a POV that we haven't really seen before. I like something like that. And then
I do agree with you. It is different.
Then we go back to the framework story, and she's watching it. And I don't think there's a whole lot to this little part, except for as her nose starts to bleed. The guy goes out to get her aspirin. With a house you've broken into, it's probably not smart to like make store runs while you're there. You know, you both should probably go.
Right. Like, I feel like at that point she has a nosebleed and a headache. Okay, like worst comes to worst, you'll like put her on your back and you're like, we can exit out the door now. This house is like creepy and vacant.
Even if it's not some mystical, like supernatural thing, there could be a guy on drugs who comes walking in the door and you just let your girlfriend by herself and she's already clearly out of sorts. I don't know. So he leaves and she puts in another tape and that's when we see in the doorway.
Which I think that shit is so creepy.
Fucking hate it. I love it because it's the creep factor is so effective in it, but it always creeps me out when somebody starts crawling. Any kind of crawling that is off in the distance and you see it coming towards, it's fucking like insane.
Yeah.
And then we don't, and I love that they withhold what happens too. We don't see an attack because I don't like.
I think that's like really smart.
It makes it better. It makes it better. Yeah. But then
especially since like we get it, like eventually we see, but like, you know, her attack is we don't see, and that's fine. I feel
power of the mind, man, power of the mind. Speaking of power of the mind, we go into the third film, and I love Occult. Occult is nice. This one was definitely the best out of them.
I think it's so fucking good.
It was good, and I think my big problem with it was that it felt like a short film that was made as a pitch, like to pitch a larger film. It felt like a feature film setup, and I would have liked to have seen a feature film of this. You know,
this really one is the longest one, right?
It was long. It was pretty long. I don't even know how long it was, but it must have been more than 15 minutes.
I want to say this one was maybe almost 30 because the last one was only like 12 minutes or 10 minutes.
And it worked for me. I would have liked to have seen a longer version of it. There's a character named Adam. I thought he was very cute. And he was the best actor out of the bunch. He turned out to be the main character, and I liked him. He's good.
Oh, I thought the jock dude who gets killed first was the cutest.
Which one was that? What was the first kill? All the kills are jumbling together for me.
With the neck.
The box cutter?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that the first kill we saw?
Yeah. Because the shit hasn't gone, because the guy's talking and he's like, and then he's like, don't interrupt me, and then cuts him with the box cutter.
Yeah, so the other ones definitely felt more like short films and felt very low budget. This one felt like they gave all the budget to this one, you know?
This is like, literally, when I revisited this movie, I revisit this segment.
It's
because
good.
I think I want to show this one to people. I think it's like really good.
I always show people the first like 20 minutes of When a Stranger Calls, the original one, because I think that is just like so insanely effective, and I would do the same with this. I think I would show this to people. It was very Jonestown with the twist, you know. I liked that.
And I read that I never noticed it until this time around, that all the little like talismans are purposely to look like the Blair Witch talismans.
I was wondering.
Because apparently the guys people who directed the original Blair Witch like directed some segments in the first and the second one. So it's like an homage to that because they work on it.
Yeah, and I like that it was like in Indonesia. It was in Indonesia, so it felt like this was on a tape, and the tapes were probably from all over the world, and that added to the overall lore. And it's not something you would like initially think about, but like it really is nice, because if you go into the other tapes, what other countries are there, right? I thought the practical effects were really decent for like what it was.
Yes.
You know, they did try to rely more on practical effects than they did on special effects, and I really appreciate that whenever a movie does that.
I just think like this, I agree with you that this could have been like a full movie. This segment like fully would have worked as like a fleshed out movie. And it did the thing that I think you and I both like, where it's like, it's kind of boring at the top, but that works to build the tension. So when everything goes to shit, it's like going to shit.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we get the like, oh, the girl might be pregnant, like when they're filming at first and her button's like undone because she can't button it. And we get her almost vomiting when they're interviewing the guy, but like we know she's pregnant, so that's not crazy. But like once it's like she's leaving by herself and he gives her directions to the bathroom, you're like,
that's what that got me. I was like, you don't let people go on their own, especially to a downstairs and to a lift. It don't work out that way. It's not going to be what you think it's going to be.
Where the hell did you get that big Slayer scythe that you're pointing at me?
I got the Sideshow Faith doll. And this came with it.
Yeah. Wait, it comes with it?
Yeah, there's a So there's two versions of it. It's the same damn doll, but there's two versions, and one version has just like it's like a deluxe edition that comes with the scythe. So me and Alistair play with it.
I say I know what size they are with the action figures, and that was bigger than mine.
If you don't know, so this is a scythe, Ian. This is from Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 7. Yes,
never heard of that show.
It actually didn't come in very early in season 7 either, though. It came like towards the end of the season. And season 7 is the last season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So this is the weapon of all Slayers. Yeah, you should watch it. I think you should watch it.
That's a TV show with Christy Swanson, right?
Yeah. You know what? We should watch the first season. Maybe we'll start doing that.
Maybe
Thursday.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. Continuing. I really appreciated the dead nurses. I liked that. Okay, so it's a cult. It's a big cult, and we know it's a cult. We know something's happening, and then they start talking about the Kool-Aid. They're going to drink the Kool-Aid, and they say, drink every drop.
Right. Well, wait. So they get separated, though. That's the thing that happens. Is so she goes to throw up. The guy that is actually her baby daddy is like, oh, let me go follow her, which makes sense.
This is a cute one.
I thought he was okay. Yeah. I can never get your taste down. And they leave Malik, who you think is the main character. He's like the head of the production, right? He's like the interviewer for the production they're doing. And so you think he might be the main character. You think like him or the woman will be the main, but nope, they both die. And they leave him and the like DP, is that what the guy is with the mic and stuff?
A DP is director of photography. Yeah, the mic, that's a boom operator. It's a mic operator.
Sure. Yeah. So they leave those two guys. Then like we see her confront, like she sees the children in the classroom, wants to know what, and this is like the first like weird thing, right? Because then the woman they called her Madam, who escorted them around, is like, well, yours will be more beautiful. And she's like, she's like walking away from them. And then the cute guy comes in and is like, hey, what's going on? And I don't know when they get separated, but like then they leave together to go find the bathroom. The battery runs out. So Malik goes to the car, and that's when everything goes to shit. We get all our
character drama, right? This is the part of the bigger story, is what we should have a larger movie to give more of the character stuff, right? That's why, to me, it just felt like more of a pitch to a larger film. It felt very much like a different version of Midsummer, in that we get tons of like found footage movies do work with cults all the time, but usually they're like weird cults that like they stare into space and they do creepy faces and like creepy eyes, and we clearly know something's fucking wrong with them. I always appreciate a cult that everybody's very calm, everybody's very like normal acting. The head honcho guy, he's obviously weird, but like everybody else acts pretty normal, you know?
Right.
And I always think that makes the later chaos a lot more satisfying than just from right off the top, you know, Granny's in the corner giving like a face like this in a Paranormal Activity movie, you know?
Granny. But so the Malik goes, he somehow he like happens to have the camera on where the pregnant woman and the cute guy are. He finds out that she is pregnant with the cute guy's baby, and it's not Malik's, even though she's engaged to Malik. And then a siren goes off, right? Or a bell.
The siren goes off. It keeps going, doesn't it? Like right through the end. Is what
I think it's like a bell, and then a siren goes off later. It's like a bell that's dinging, because then Father, the crazy cult leader, is like, the time has come. Everyone drink the drink. And the cute jock dude is like, what's going on? And he puts on a box cutter on the table, which I would have just left the room. Like, and he's like, don't interrupt me. I would have been like, I will not. I will leave. See ya. And he probably still would have killed me.
I'm this way. I'll go. Where did you say the bathroom is? You know what? Don't even tell me. You said don't interrupt. It's just.
I'm good. I'm going to go find everybody else.
Yeah.
The cult leader takes off his shirt. He has all the like crazy carvings on his belly. And the guy talks again, interrupting him. And I think it's a pretty fucking brutal kill, right?
I didn't buy it. I do have to say this was one of the weaker moments for me, because the other guy's a bigger dude. The cult leader is a tiny man. He could take him.
Yeah, but like there's something to be said for like being scared, and he just like jumps up and jabs it in his neck. That would take you out.
If your fight or flight is lay down and die, that's just, I guess you deserve it. I guess you deserve a box.
He got stabbed in the neck.
He had his arm. He could have held him. He had him. All he had to do was just flip this little guy over. But he does. Yeah. So I guess that was the first death. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's pretty brutal, because not only does he stab him, but then he stabs him again and cuts it across his neck. And And then we get like Malik runs in and sees the like people shooting each other in the head.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a pretty crazy scene because they're all just standing there and they all shoot themselves in the like fucking head.
It was. I was wondering if they were going to show the guy, his friend, getting shot in the back. Because usually they'll cut away from something like that, and they do show it. They do show it, so it's pretty brutal. And then he like falls to the floor. And are you saying Malik? His name's Adam. This is Adam.
But Malik is the guy that gets shot in the head.
Oh, is he? Okay. So then Adam comes in and sees all that. Okay, Adam comes in and sees all that.
Well, wait.
Sees his friend get shot.
Now I can't remember. Does he find the pregnant lady
We're
first?
absolutely all over the place. At some point, somebody finds a pregnant lady and under a sheet. Guess what? If it's under a sheet, you gotta open it. If you see somebody under a sheet, you gotta.
Yes. So I don't know how he gets separated from the woman, Lena.
I don't know if that was clear either.
Maybe, there's like so much chaos going on.
It needs to be a longer movie. We need to see a longer movie.
But I think at this point is when the siren's blaring. He finds this like body that clearly looks like a pregnant woman giving birth. The legs are out. It's like on stirrups. Pulls the sheet down. She screams. The whole sheet falls off. And like she's open from like here, like from her chest to her asshole almost, right?
I was confused about that because later they do give birth to like their god. Like the girl gives birth to her god. So then what was this? Fake god? Was this
I assume it was a failed attempt.
Okay.
Like
a failed goat. Like a failed like little horse calf.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. There's a lot going on here. I really like the Jonestown aspect of it because when they come in with the Kool-Aid and everybody starts drinking it, you think that's normal like cult fare, right? Is because that's such a big legend now.
Yeah.
Among cults. And I like the twist being that the drink makes them all undead. Is that what it is? Yeah. I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I liked, again, like I said earlier, like it's like zombies, but not quite, right? Like,
yeah, it's more their hell god raising them from the dead to be his servants is what I took it. Okay. Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah. And I thought it worked. And also like we already got a zombie. I didn't need these people like trying to eat their flesh. Like they're just like attacking them. That's fine.
When Adam sees his friend get shot, he sees his friend get shot and then sees the guy who shot him like shoot himself, and he like drops to the floor. He's a really good actor, by the way. He's very, very good at this. But then, like there's a moment where he hears his friend like as he is yelling out and has his mouth open. In another part of the building, we hear his friend scream at the top of her lungs, and so it sounds like it's coming out of him. I could not stop fucking laughing. It was fucking hilarious. It was so good.
I was like, why are you laughing? You're like,
did you not think that was so funny? Oh my gosh, Ian. Anybody else? Did you guys find that funny? I'm gonna have to screen cap that. We'll have to post it.
So then he like figures out where she's going, right? Like he sees them kind of taking her to a room. The father guy is taking in, the women are all there. And like, then the room explodes.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
There is, and for me, the fucking chaos really works. Like it's like I felt like tense, even though I've seen this a zillion times. And then like the father dude is that. Well, first we see something crawl on the ceiling, and we never address that.
We don't address most of the stuff. He also walks by some people fucking in a room full of blood, and we never talk about that either.
And blood's coming out of their pounding.
Don't ask, don't tell.
I do not want to ask about that if I see that. I'd be like, you're busy, you got something going on.
Exactly. Just like the bear in The Shining. You see a bear giving a head in The Shining in the Overlook Hotel, you don't say nothing. You just keep going. That's their business. That's their business.
And then but father, like what he tells him, like it's already happened, and then also explodes in front of him. And he finds Lena, his baby mama, is like freaking out. These nurses are holding her down. It seems
I love the undead nurses. I love them. And they're all screaming for no fucking reason. They're all holding her down and just not even looking at him, but they're just all screaming into the air. And it was the chaos was perfect. It was amazing. I loved it.
Because shit like that really like works to make it like, ugh.
And it's just the perfect amount of ridiculous. I think if you're going to go with something ridiculous, you stick to it and you like drive it home. And it's either going to work or it's not. But most times sometimes if you're really confident with it, it'll work. It'll work in the context of what you're doing if the rest of it's ridiculous too. And I think the screaming fucking undead nurses was my favorite part of this whole short.
But was the madam coherent, or did she also have the weird eyes when he attacked
They all
her?
had weird eyes, so I don't even know. But she gives the lady, his girlfriend on the table. There's clearly a dummy. Did you watch the legs? Did you see
The legs
They
look
were
like yeah.
pool noodles. They're pool noodles, you know.
And it's like,
pool
I get
noodles
it,
shoved
she's
in
about
some
to
skinny
die,
jeans.
but like she's still got knees there.
There's no joints, no bones, nothing. It was just for the effect of the. Do you have a name for this creature? What is this?
No, I don't think so.
Mr. Demon Head. Mr. Demon Head comes crawling out of this woman's belly.
It just says watching as the horned demon the cult worships, who resembles Baphomet, tears its way out of her body. And like, it's pretty fucking brutal, right? Like, yeah. I mean, granted, it does look really stupid when you see her legs, but like, I can remember the first time I saw that and I was like, holy shit. Like, you don't often see that. Like, it's exploding out of her and she's dead.
Yeah. And then Baphomet comes out and the guy takes off running, you know?
Listen, he's smart. He doesn't try to be like, are you okay? He's like,
is he smart? Gone. Is he smart? Because there was a lot of time for him to get away before Baphomet was born, and he wasted a lot of time.
I don't know. I would be like, it's understandable that you would be a little shook that your girlfriend is a demon devil thing is bursting out of her belly.
I'm sorry about it. Like, that sucks. It really does. But if you are already dead, what is me standing looking horrified and screaming going to do? Nothing. No, but I need to get out of there.
You're a little shook. So you're like, ugh.
Be shook at your car. Be shook at your car because he waited too long. He got in his car. He took off driving. And I did think he was going to get away. I was kind of hoping it because from the distance you hear like this
so cool
yelling, right? This yelling from this demon.
But he does a good job and he makes it and you want him to make it, right? Because like he does get through.
Yeah.
And the craziness is like when he's in that car and you hear the screaming, the demon growling, and the siren all at once, and it's just like fuck.
And I did not want him to like look back or stop or do
and
anything like that, and he didn't. He kept going. It didn't fucking matter because he still gets like that fucking rammed in the side of the car. Car flips over and he like crawls out of the car, and Baphomet is standing over him, calls him Papa. And he just does he laugh? Is that what he's doing? He's just laughing.
All the things I said is supposed to be like he goes insane, like he loses his mind because this demon calls him dad.
Well, I mean, he didn't die, did he? Like, I didn't see him die. So,
and man, when there's like the blood from his mouth, the snot from his nose,
good. That was good. That was a good allergy day for him. They say, use it. And that was the end of that short. But I really liked that one. I'd watch a full length one of that.
Yeah. I'm really glad you like that one because that's like for me what makes the movie is like that one is so fucking good.
Yeah. We do check back in with the framework story. The guy gets back from CVS. He went to the CVS and he comes back and she's already on the floor, fucking dead. She's dead because the crawling guy got her a long time ago. And then he it's weird this part because it doesn't really go anywhere. It says watch and it's the last fucking tape, you know, and he puts it in and we see the last tape. But every time we check in with him now, during this framework story, he's sitting in the same spot and like not really doing anything. He's not trying to get her help. He's not trying to help her. He's not trying to escape or anything. So I don't know. I thought that was weird.
Again, I think it goes to like they're like in like a weird trance state from like the TVs. Okay. I really think that's like the whole point. And like because like he just looks at it and he kind of is like zones out and just puts it in. And this one's called Slumber Party Alien Abduction.
I know they really go. They don't try to make this any deeper than the title. I do it.
Which I will say, I'm curious what you think because for me, they're not trying to make it anything more than that. Yeah. And for me, like, okay, well that works. Like if this is all we're going for, that works. There is
0 out of 5 knives. Zero.
Oh really?
The
0?
Dog dies at the end. Everybody, just so you know, the dog dies, and I am.
I told Zach to look away.
0.
Oh Lord.
Yes.
But like I don't mind if it's like that's all because like this segment was like 10 minutes, I think. And so like I wasn't even sure which child had survived at that point. Like I could only tell the sister different.
They all looked
because
exactly the same. The only one the gays will recognize is a blonde girl. You know, that's
well,
it.
also because she
That's
was
it.
the only girl.
She was the only girl, yeah, and a blonde girl running around with her nice long blonde hair and like screaming. I enjoyed that in a horror movie. I didn't give a fuck about the kids. I wanted the kids to go first, to be honest.
I like the kid with the dog because I liked that they were friends.
I like the dog. The dog should have gotten out of there. Benji, get the fuck out of there. Go, Benji.
I only like the one kid because I'm always endeared by a little kid with a dog.
Well, let me talk about the plot of this. Okay, it is about a slumber party, and then there are aliens, and they abduct the slumber party goers.
It's weird. The thing that I love that's like kind of funny and kind of stupid is when the one little kid is like, there's someone at your door, and it's like clearly an alien standing at this glass door.
They really tried with those aliens too. Like they really tried to like keep them only in flashes because those are some rubber suits and we see them. They look like
they looked better in the flashes, right? When there was a flash.
They did, but they did put in the effort. I wrote immediately when I knew it was aliens. Aliens! Exclamation point. I don't think we have enough aliens in horror. We need more alien content. Love an alien. They're creepy as fuck to me.
Alien shit like can scare me easily. Actually,
that first blast when they all go into the room,
yes.
like, and they're with and they scare the couple. I wasn't even sure if that really happened because I thought it happened, but then nobody really reacted to it, so I thought it was just one of the machines that they had, or like the blowhorn or something like that.
It's supposed to be that they don't notice it because they're doing so much.
And I wasn't even sure. And then the second time the blast happened was like wild, and I was like, I love it. I love it. And then they kept doing it every time the aliens popped up on us. Great.
I don't know. For me, that like when there's a loud noise in a chaos, it works for me to like stress me out.
I like it.
So like that worked for me. I think the aliens look better when they were far away, or when it's like they did the thing towards the end. They did a thing where it's like it would make it super bright to like kind of saturate them, and then they didn't look so bad. But when they're in that living room, it's like, ooh, that is a man in like a leotard.
This is definitely a 14-year-old's short film, in that they just set up the danger, they set up the characters, and they'd have the characters run to about 10 different locations in the span of 10 minutes. And that was their big old chase scene. And that's all we needed. We didn't need none of those.
Like when they were all, okay, so again, like the scene that for me that works here is when it's the kid and the dog in the sleeping bag and they're being in the water. And he's like yelling for the dog and he's like, we need help. And the dog's crying. Like for me, that's like, looking at the Wikipedia page though, I didn't realize. So like in the setup, you see one of the ghosts, or one of the aliens when they're underwater, when they're in the like lake. Apparently one of the aliens is standing at the bottom, like next to where they are.
Oh, that's creepy. I would need to see that. I wish they would have lingered on that a tiny bit more then so that I could have picked up on it. I really liked that the aliens were just everywhere, and it made no sense, I guess, because they were just anywhere. Anytime anybody turned, they were just right there. It didn't matter how they're running to there, how they're beaming over. They're just there, and they were never going to escape. And I liked it. And then they all got abducted, and the dog died. And it's a 0 out of 5 knives for me.
This one I would give like 3, maybe 4, maybe 3.5.
All right. For you, I will also give it a 0 out of 5 knives. So this one is 0 out of 5 knives, guys. It's like not changing. This is this. Don't kill the dogs anymore. We've evolved past that. We don't need to do that no more.
I feel like if we're killing children, we can kill a dog too. I'm very
kill the child. Kill him.
I'm like
dead.
Because I like a kid with a dog. Because I was a kid with a dog.
And did you kill your dog? Because that's what it sounds like. That
I wasn't abducted by an alien, and my dog fell.
Dog murderer. We go back to the framework story, and the guy is now. I think what happens to him? Now I've forgotten.
So he's like out of it, and he's like out of it, and then like I forget what. Hold on, wait. I have it in my. He's like very zoned out. He plays the recording that his girlfriend had watched only briefly of the college kid they're looking for. Like it was clearly like him recording on QuickTime. He plays the rest of it because she's paused it.
Yeah. He
plays the rest of it, and we see him say, like, me and my mom, are in on this. You know who my mom is. He's clearly talking to
whoever show up, right?
Yeah. And he like puts the gun. He's like, time to make my own tape. He puts the gun to his jaw, blows his jaw off, sits up.
I liked the reveal here.
Yes.
This was great. This was great. The reveal is that so he sits up after he blows his jaw off and he goes into another room. Literally 2 seconds later, they come through the window. So like this was
And I
just
like that.
seconds from
Because she even heard, right? Like she says, I heard someone.
yeah.
And the guy's like, well, great, then we can talk to him. But like, I like that, like, it also wasn't completely out of left field because we do have them saying that when they're going into the window. Like, she's like, I heard something.
Yeah.
And that makes sense that she heard something, right?
And it's like a cool detail that they didn't that, like made no sense to the plot. It just worked. It just worked and it was really nice and it was a good payoff. Yeah. And then
his dead girlfriend wakes up and attacks him.
When she's like crawling in like the bridge position and just like I like that.
So he breaks her neck because she's which feels so weird. It's like I feel like I would think she was alive and like maybe crazy. I would just like punch her, right? Not like
no, give her the Advil you just went to get. Right?
Yeah, I got it. I'm back.
Just hold that to her. That might
Is
be
this
all
what
she
you're
wants.
mad about? So he breaks her neck.
Men love violence.
She's crawling. And he runs away from her. She finds him in the closet. He shoots her. And then who do we see in the closet? He hears a noise.
Yeah, that's the guy who blew his jaw off. And
I think that shit creeps me out.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if like so at first when he shot his jaw off, I thought that he just because when he held the gun up, this is really dark by the way. When he held the gun up, I've seen way too many like Oprah specials about people who try to shoot themselves and kill themselves and they do it through the jaw and then the jaw just comes off and then they're disfigured. I thought that was what it was because when he got up, I was like, oh fuck, he didn't kill himself like he was trying to. But I guess he wasn't really.
I'm not 100% clear on
the goal. What's the goal here?
Right. I mean, clearly he got his goal, right? Like he was happy with how it went because he gives the camera a thumbs up.
It's just fine. This works.
So I'm not sure because like I was like, is he supposed to be an undead minion of whatever? Or is it like, nope, just took my jaw for funsies and I kill these people?
Yeah, he's like,
so that I don't know why, but like, well, no, closet shit always scares me. Like the Halloween scene scared me so much as a kid, the Jamie Lee in that closet. And I was thinking last night about him in the closet, and I was like, me in my closet's packed with shit. There's no way anyone's fitting in there. But I kept being like, that guy with his tongue, that's scary. I don't want him in my closet. I'm more scared of
the ghost face mask anytime I look into the computer screen and see just a face there. You know, that would scare me more than anything.
That would scare you. That ghost face by itself hanging would scare you more than a man without his jaw.
I mean, it's not going to terrify me, but if I see it for a second, I'm going to like get spooked for a moment and have to look back. That looks like somebody, Ian. Yes, a closed closet door. I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about seeing somebody behind me.
See, I'm so scared of closet stuff. I always keep the closet door open. Like always.
Really? That's worse.
No, because then I can see it.
That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. Listen, my first point that I made during this lesson was if you see something, you don't want to see anything because you don't want to interact with nothing. No, you're opening the door for something else, Ian.
That jawless man is not just content sitting eating cupcakes in my closet. He's waiting to murder someone.
Murder you. And that's VHS too. That's the movie. We done it. It was good. It was good. I liked the third one.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's so weird because I think the first one's like okay. I remember liking it, but then nothing compared to like that short.
Yeah.
So
I do want to get in. I do want to watch more found footage just because I would like to enjoy the genre. I feel like I am the snob who is shitting on found footage when it is a perfectly fine genre. As Above, So Below, I really want to cover that one. I fucking love that one. Paris Catacombs, that's like right up my alley, you know.
Oh, right.
I love it. We should cover that one soon. But,
I don't know that I ever saw it, but I remember. I forget. There was a night when you were talking about it and looked up the trailer, and I was like, "Oh, I do remember this," but I don't know that I saw it.
Well, if you haven't seen it, yeah, we're definitely gonna do that one.
The one I would want you to watch is Grave Encounters.
We will talk to you guys later. We'll see you next week, and have a great day.
Bye.